Hey guys, we're back with another episode of the Disruption Podcast. It's your host, Ankur Garg, with my co-host,
Ludwig Arroyo. Thanks for that.
We had to practice that. Apparently I wasn't being consistent with what I was saying, so it was a problem.
How many times did you have to practice that?
I didn't actually practice it.
Too much.
I told him I can't guarantee what I'm going to say. But more importantly, we're super excited about our guests. I have a fraternity brother who's joining us today. And shout out to Sig Rowe. In addition to his marketing sales genius business partner. And this category is disruptive in its own sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And this brand is called Low-Key, quite in with the times. So I would like to welcome Harji and Ashish.
Harji.
Oops.
Should have practiced his
Start
name.
over. Oh, there's a J.
Harji, yeah.
In my defense, he told me nothing about you.
Yeah.
I thought it would be more interesting for the podcast.
He said my partner's coming from
is.
Brooklyn. He's Punjabi. You guys will get along. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I find out that we're both Scorpios. And we both just celebrated birthdays. We're clearly cut from the same cloth.
I know. Agreed. You know, it's funny because my past is very similar to yours too.
Who has more tattoos?
I got 1, 2, 3, 4.
I win. Nice.
Fuck.
You do?
Yeah, 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What?
I'm working on getting a sleeve, so let's see.
I'm waiting for the artist that I want to do my sleeve
Yeah.
to just be available. They took like a 2-year hiatus from tattooing.
Yeah.
Tattoos are very expensive and they're permanent. You guys want permanent?
I mean, I just
Yeah.
got this one recently, which is a toy that my dog's favorite toy.
I understand why.
It's like a line of it.
That's an interesting choice. Is the dog still alive?
He's still alive. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, is Low-Key pet safe?
You know, we never really tried it.
Yeah,
I think my dog might have had some one day, but like he's tried a lot of substances, I think. So I don't know.
Yeah, I would not advise against that. You know, my legal team is whispering in my ears at this exact moment saying
They're on
no
speed dial.
animals. Yeah.
Are you allowed to post, or do they let you have any control of outbound communication?
I'm not allowed on social media for Loki.
Okay.
If you message someone, you probably get one of our assistants. Once in a while, Harji will
Yeah.
answer. Maybe Rikin.
So who responded to me when I DM'd you guys?
Probably someone from our team, I would say.
Yeah, and then they'll tell us, hey, so and so is looking for you, and then we'll log in and then go from there.
Okay.
But we all have access to it.
Yeah.
But usually someone will tell us, like,
It's
hey,
on my phone, but I just don't go to the account as much. Yeah. Like,
Well, let's get into this idea
Yeah.
of a cannabis infused beverage.
Yep.
So when did this category launch in the world?
Oh, I mean, beverages and cannabis have been around for a long time. I mean, if you think about like tinctures, you know, I mean, in a sense, that is a liquid and people do drink it. So that's been around for a while. But, you know, the first I heard of it was probably back in like 2010, 2011 with Keith Cola. Yeah. It was a beverage. They won a bunch of cannabis awards. And I mean, it was delicious. It was just blew my mind that you can drink something and be high. So ever since that, I've been chasing this thing. And the first product idea I had was back when I was in college. It was called Pot Shot.
shot.
Yeah, it was a little
Like
shot.
5-hour energy, but
Yes,
but, okay.
exactly. It was when 5-hour energy was coming out, and I was like, man, if we could put pot in it and call it Pot Shot, it would hit. And I had a little logo for it and everything.
That's
but
not bad. We should do a low-key pot shot.
ta-da.
Product development.
Yeah, right.
Like Ashisha's first initial idea comes to fruition.
So the idea of cannabis beverages has been around for a minute.
Yeah, definitely.
I would
Why?
say like since like maybe 2010.
Yeah.
Not that long.
Yeah, not that long.
2010.
And when
Yeah.
did you guys launch?
This was 20.
So we launched the first, like the company, I would say the brand launched end of 2019, right?
Okay.
So it's actually interesting how it all came about. So I was actually at Rikin's house for the holidays. And at the time, him and Rikin were making gummies, right? And
For personal use.
yeah,
for a company.
that too, but like, but they had a gummy company, right? And like they were making gummies for a while. And like when I was at Rikin's house, he was like, "Yo, do you want to try this edible?" And the first thing that came to my mind, I'm like, "Yo, fuck that! I don't like edible." Everybody's had a bad experience with edibles, right? It's like you never know what's gonna end up happening when you take an edible. I've ate edibles before. I was like, "Yo, I need to go to the hospital." Like, fuck this, right? So my first reaction was like, "No, I'm good." But then he was like, "No, it's actually a Delta 8 gummy. It's not regular THC." And I'm like, "What the fuck is Delta 8, right?" He told me the whole rundown a bit. There's like, you know, obviously the cannabis plant has hundreds of different cannabinoids and like Delta 8 just happens to be one of them. He's like, try it. The high is a little bit different. It's not going to get you as stoned. I ate the gummy And maybe like 15, 20 minutes later, I was like, yo, this feels fucking amazing. Like I'm not lit, but I'm high, but I'm like aware high. You know, it's weird. Like I'm fully here.
And you woke up the next day with a lion in your bedroom. with no recollection of what happened.
No, surprisingly not. I mean, maybe because I was drinking as well, but that's kind of when the light bulb went off because I had this gummy and I was drinking, I think, a High Noon at the time. And I was like, yo, hold up. Is there any good seltzer on the fucking market that is Delta 8 related and, you know, tastes great? You know, we right at the spot, I asked Rikin, like, yo, is there anything like not that I know of, right? There were seltzers or drinks at the time, like Keep Cool and all that stuff.
Yeah, but like CBD drinks,
yeah,
you know, regular
CBD,
THC, regulated, you know,
regulated. There was like so much
the O'Douls of seltzer.
Yeah. So like CBD, there was so many CBD drinks, and like I call it CB don't because it doesn't do shit for you. You know what I mean? So like you'll drink 5 CBD cans and like not feel anything. So I might as well drink water at that point, right?
Right.
But the light bulb went off, and like we started looking online, and there was literally nothing that came up. Right? I'm like, yo, dude. Between the three of us, we have everything you could possibly need to launch a brand, right? Between like the formulation, the legality side of things, the co-packing side of things, the like go-to-market, brand, digital, A to Z, like we had it, like between the three of us.
And we spun it up really quickly. Like
So like backstory on me, I also own a creative agency, right? So like we've been building brands for the last decade, and like every year, every January, we have like a town hall, which like the whole team comes together, and part of the town hall is like everybody pitches ideas, right? And we vote on the best idea and we'll fund it and take it to market. So it sort of is like a venture studio in a way as well. So I'm like, yo guys, this is game changing. This is what we're fucking doing. I want everybody to stop every engagement you're working on for the next, you know, couple weeks. And I want this in market, right?
Yeah.
We started working on the idea, maybe second week of January. We're on the shelf by April 420, exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's with
everything.
Yeah.
Like
420.
420, we were on the shelf.
That's
right?
awesome. Yeah.
Like I'm talking about package design.
And this
naming,
is during COVID,
strategy,
where like
yeah.
getting slim cans was like
that's another
impossible.
story. That's
like,
another story.
Yeah,
Right.
that's like we got to get into that too.
Yeah, because like, you know, when we started hitting the ground running on this, like him and Rikin were handling a lot of the sort of, you know, operations, co-packing, all that stuff, and we were working on the brand, the naming, the go-to-market, how to position it, and all that stuff. And then we realized that during COVID, nobody would sell us aluminum cans because there was such a shortage. So we had to like go to literally Ball, like the people who fucking make the cans.
And we're like, all right, we'll buy the truckload.
So we're like, we had to come guns blazing. Like for them to take us seriously, we had to buy 500,000 cans.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And we're like, we don't know what's normal. You know,
Yeah.
most people start off with like regular labels with a sticker, you know, the fat little 12-ounce cans. I learned so much about cans that I did not know. There's different liners. Like I can tell you anything about a can you have. And now I can, by looking at a can, I can be like, oh, that's a 12-ounce sleek or a 12-ounce slim.
You know, in a way, we were like, yo, should we pivot and go into the canning business? Because like, there's such a short supply of cans. We have 500,000 cans. We can sell these cans for a lot. We did sell
some cans. We wound up like dividing some of the cans and selling it to other companies.
So we like made some money on that too. But like,
where everyone else was selling masks and flipping selling cans. Okay.
Well, one of our partners was selling masks, and you know, the pharmaceutical partner.
But that's sort of how it came about. You know, like it was a light bulb moment. We had everything that between the three of us that we needed to really bring a product to market. And it's been very interesting, man, because like we launched thinking we would go after a certain category, but when we were in market, the market reacted totally different to it. There was a whole different segment of people who were actually enjoying it more than we thought they would.
Yeah.
And a big part of our, sort of brand was like, we never wanted it to be like, I'm getting fucked up, I'm getting lit, I'm getting high, like all of our sort of communication never promotes that in any way, shape, or form. Because when we were like looking at, how to position this, we're like, okay, cool. Cannabis people will buy this. It's low-hanging fruit for them. They know exactly what the fuck it is, right? We don't need to sell this to them. Who we're really trying to sell it to is like non-cannabis consumers, right? We want them to be like, oh shit, this is actually a perfect alternative to alcohol. I can have a few of these, not be hungover the next morning. You know what I mean? And like, all right, I don't know about you guys, but I never did anything I regretted high. But there have been multiple things I've done drunk that I'm like, fuck, dude, why did I do that? So we sort of position it as a perfect alternative to alcohol. That was sort of, we were trying to go after the NA market.
Yep. And it's 5 milligrams. We kept a very low dose. So like, you can have one can and still like function.
But you guys are being modest, right? Because you are going after like White Claw, like the hard seltzer. That's
so not really, because it's funny. We did like this campaign back last summer, I think, where we had like wild postings around Brooklyn everywhere. And like the whole premise was, the world doesn't need another hard seltzer.
Right.
Say
So
hello
many.
to the better drink, you know?
Right,
So,
right.
because everyone has a hard seltzer now. Like, everybody has a hard seltzer.
And even like the ready to drink, like the cocktails and stuff. Oh, by the way, I own a liquor store, so there I can actually product test and see what's coming in. Like Jameson released their own like lemon and lime. Now Malibu has their pre-made drinks. Like before, they were just in bottles, but now they're making canned beverages ready to drink. But I can tell you, this outsells those brands in my store. People are kind of gearing away from the larger brands and going for new, unique products. And this is just a whole different category.
Let's back up a little bit, right? Because we just got right into the money.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
So wait, hold on. Wait, no.
What's your name?
How much is a can? How much is one blank can?
Like, you mean an empty can? How much we like?
What does it cost for
20
ball?
Oh, we paid 19 cents back then. Now it's closer to 26 cents.
So when you recycle that can, is it still a nickel?
It's a good question.
Not every state even gives you a nickel. So I don't know if you know that, but not every state gives you money for the can.
We're gonna have to talk about that separately.
Oh, yeah,
All
there's-
right. All right.
I can
Go
get-
ahead. Let's get into the weeds.
So I just want to take it back to the beginning. You're a real estate finance guy, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get into the creative agency, then into...
Oh, dude. So when you were telling me your story, I was like, bro, that sounds like
my story.
We're like the same people.
Yeah.
So went to school for real estate finance, worked in real estate finance at a company called CDI Corp in their real estate acquisitions division. And growing up, I was always, more into the creative stuff. I've always been producing music. I still do, I still perform and stuff like that. I was always into art and photography. And I just went into finance because I can make a fuck ton of money, But at the time,
Make mom and dad proud.
yeah, you know what I mean? It was like I knew that's not what I wanted to do. And I always knew that, I wanted to do something in the creative space. Then I took mushrooms once. Straight up.
I wanted to say drugs. That's
So,
why you go.
no, I took first time I ever took mushrooms, I took almost 4 grams, which is a shit ton for your first time. And just had this whole entire ego death and realization. I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? Quit my job, literally they say don't quit your job after taking mushrooms. I did it, right? But I was lucky enough that at the time we had a vendor that we worked with that also was in the creative space. They were our vendor, and he was like, dude, you would be really good in this creative world. Did you ever think about coming to the agency side? I was like, I didn't think about it. But he's like, yeah, let's do it. So it's funny how it happened. We went out for drinks and he offered me a job at the spot, but I was just so fucked up. It was this young, me, finance bro. And I was like, bro, I don't know if you could afford me, bro, but I'd entertain it. So guy slipped me his card and he's like, okay, email me what you want in terms of the salary and we'll take it from there. I still remember I woke up the next day fully clothed, right? Still, you know what I mean? I was going through my pocket. I'm like, what the fuck do I have to lose? Let me email this guy, right? I'm like, hey man, it was nice meeting you. This is what I'm looking for in terms of salary. Let me know what your thoughts are. Dude responded in 5 minutes. He goes, done. Meet me in my office. I'm like, what the fuck? I threw a crazy number too. I was like, all right, cool. Got in there, started, I knew so much in the real estate space and I knew so many players for them already. And they already 70% of their business was real estate creative, right? And for me, I knew I knew what their sort of bottom line was. I knew how to talk the language, So as soon as I learned the creative side of it too, it was it sort of clicked. I was like, yo, I can actually make money from my ideas now. Holy shit, this is crazy. I would go into meetings and pitch reckless shit and they'd be like, all right, let's do it. I'm like, what the fuck? This is dope. Got to the point where I moved to another larger agency, worked at DDB, which is a larger advertising agency, then went to another agency and worked my way up to creative director. And at the time it came to the point where I was bringing in all the business anyway. I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? I might as well start my own company. Left, started freelancing for a little bit because I had to non-compete with so many people. So freelance for maybe 4 months. And then from there, just started picking up clients left and right. I knew a lot of people in the industry. Real estate was the easiest thing for me to pick up. So we started working with a lot of REITs, started working with private investment funds, and then started branching out to different sectors. We started working with food and beverage, fashion, technology, hospitality, did hotels and all this stuff, right? Company scaled. We have an office in Williamsburg. We have an office in Dubai. And it's been amazing ever since. I feel like I found my ikigai or whatever it's called, right? Where I love doing it and I get paid to fucking do it. I'm like, yo, say no more.
So you still have the agency. You
still have the agency. So yeah, that's still
It does literally before we got here, as I was driving and as he was on the train, we're sending messages to his team about the new updates because we're launching a new website.
Yeah.
So they're very active.
That's why I'm able to leverage our entire team for Loki because it's sort of our project internally, right? So that was a big competitive advantage for us, I think, versus everyone else trying to do it in the space. So a A lot of people launched after us, and like
Yeah.
the branding was shit for all the people. But I'm biased.
Remember
to
that
say
one brand that literally copied
Oh
everything?
my god! There was this one brand that literally copied verbatim everything from our website, everything on our can, like copied it verbatim. I was like, bro, this is wild.
I was like, that's when you know, like, you did a great job.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, shout out to NLA Her, copying everything I did in Shreds. But you know, did you guys like hack my brain when I came to me designing the logo for this?
Whoa, you guys extended your.
But
Wait,
like,
is this on purpose?
I know I designed this logo for us. Not,
Yeah.
but it was,
You know why
is the
we-
Loki logo secretly in
Yeah.
my brain?
Yeah,
It
It
must
has to
have
be.
been.
It has to.
it had to.
It
That
had
is
to be.
fucking nuts.
That's crazy. I didn't even notice that until you pointed.
Because you were
You know
on my
why
list.
we did that, right?
Because you were on my list of potential guests
People
for
to-
the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
And you know, we're doing asset design of like how
Yeah.
we're gonna go and Premiere and After Effects and figure out what we're
Yeah.
gonna do. And then I found this font that extended the letters a certain way. I'm like, yo, I love this.
Yeah.
This is it, right? But like, which letter do we extend? And so, you know, with color theory, you know, phonetics, and like
Yeah.
looking at all of it, I quickly decided it was going to be those two letters.
So that's one part of our like in our brand identity. It's where we stretch the O out.
Yeah.
Because when we were sort of going through the exercises, we're like, okay, so why do people drink this, right? It's because you're trying to really like stretch out time in a way and
Yeah,
like
because you're
enhance the
enjoying
moment.
that
You're enjoying that
moment.
moment. You want
Yeah.
to extend that moment. So you see a lot of our creative will have like a moment in the background where someone either is like on a rooftop or at a beach or on a yacht. And like the O is just stretched and it warps the time in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
So
because like you're trying to remember that amazing time.
you're trying to savor that moment and like, you know, be present when you're drinking it kind of thing. And that was a big part of our like identity when we did that. So
RG hacked my brain.
Sick.
Got me thinking.
That's
about
how good
extending
we are.
letters and phonetics. Like, okay.
Subliminal.
So wait, why did you guys extend the O? You just like the way it looked?
I mean, the idea of disruption and the idea of someone reading a bunch of podcasts and going through the thing. I mean, when you see this, you're going to stop and try to figure out what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Right.
I
And
almost
then
want to show it to you. Like
phonetically, in the way you would say this, if I was like one of those robot voices, like the Transformer voices, I'd want the O to be the thing that's
Oh,
extended and
yeah.
then the D to be the thing that's extended.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's weird. I make all these decisions in branding that are related to color theory. You know, the whole like red and yellow makes you hungry. And that's why
Yeah.
McDonald's uses it. And, you know, certain colors will make you feel calm. Certain colors will make you angry, so on and so forth. And I mean, there's a reason behind everything I do. I don't like explain it half the time.
What's funny is like I'm in finance and marketing is my like greatest weakness. Like I hate it. I think it's all fugazi. But then, all right, I got someone like Harji.
Get
to
him off the pod.
wait. Then I got someone like Harji to explain it to me, and like we actually went deep down with the brand. And I was like, oh my god, this is actually where everything should be done, and like there was a real reasoning behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas before, I was like, man, I just care about how much we get it for, how much we selling it for.
Yeah.
But no, marketing is more important. And Harji had created this, not a mood board, but like this presentation where he showed us 3 different options of what we wanted. What is that called when you do that?
So when we like do a lot of branding exercises,
It's called making an annoying client happy. That's what it's called.
he did
For
a
the
great
record.
job. Like, and I was like, man, I love all 3. Can we launch all 3 products? What was that thing?
So we call them like creative directions. Essentially, that's what they are, right? Because like we literally built 3 different brands almost. It's not just like photos. It's like actually thought out like creative directions that they can go. And we sort of landed on this one, where I remember,
Yeah. And there's all different color schemes, and then we like honed in on it, and then I was like, man, I just like love it. And we weren't gonna name it Loki at first. Remember, we were gonna call it something else.
It was, I forgot what we had like a shit ton of names too,
Yeah.
and like
But we wanted 4 letters. We
Yeah.
thought 4 letters was super important to us. Oh, Glow. It was called Glow.
Glow, yeah.
Yeah. But
Same with concept with the O we were gonna use,
Yeah.
but then like it was like something just hit us. We're like, dude,
we like Loki
we like
because
Loki. It's just
because
easy to remember, you know, and like
Loki's great.
everyone always asks, is there any association with like, you know, the Loki Marvel character? And there isn't at all. But hopefully we can grow big enough one day where there can be something one day. Like,
He's in my phone book. We can hit
Oh,
him
yeah.
up after this. But I
you
don't
know
think
when
he's
you
one
said
of
like
those-
you had one job, it came to that one meme with the Loki character. You had one job, and he's yelling, and we send that meme to each other all the time. It's
Yeah.
just like when something doesn't get done, it's like you had one job. You know what I'm talking about, or no?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm envisioning that scene right now in my brain. All right, so I mean, obviously, we're not going to go down the TVA route. We're gonna talk back about disruption marketing and what you guys have been doing to gain market share.
Yep.
So, I mean, your social media is dope. I'm annoyed by how good it is. The question that I have is, how do you get around all the regulation and figure out what you can post, what you can't post. I mean, I bet you guys have been on the verge of being banned and shut down at least 30 times since you guys have launched.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it.
We're already banned.
Yeah.
So
I was like, how do we?
we've already been banned, like, and
I think it was like week 3, 4.
well,
no, we got a few months.
It was once we started to attempt doing a little bit of paid media.
Yeah.
Right. And like now we know loopholes, which I might give away the secret on this podcast, but like,
We'll go for that.
But we got banned maybe like I would say month 4. I would say
Yeah,
month
it
4,
was
because we
definitely
started
early.
doing paid media a little bit just to test the waters, because the industry that we're in, if we could do paid media, we would have scaled this so fucking fast that like, it would have been.
But in a way though, I'm kind of happy that we have to do it the hard way because
Everyone else has to do that.
Yeah, everyone else has to do that, but we're actually reaching people the real way,
Yeah,
like
organically.
It doesn't feel like, how when you're seeing something that says sponsored,
Yeah.
you automatically
Yeah.
feel like, damn,
Yeah.
I'm getting tricked, and you don't feel like you love that product.
Yeah.
But if you see it organically, like you're like, oh shit, like this is relatable.
Should we tell Ashish that
I don't know how
it's
marketing
all
works.
fake?
It's all fake.
Tell him like
I'm
okay.
still living in like Fugazi
Oh
land.
my god.
No, we all, I mean, the one thing for us is like always try creating really, really high quality looking content. So someone's more inclined to share it maybe, or just, it should be visually appealing to look at it at the same time. So we don't post that much, but when we do, it's like very intentful.
We get a lot of no's. Like
Yeah.
we show things and we're like, nope, no,
Yeah, yeah.
no, a lot of no's.
But it's been difficult to scale it because we can't do paid media and like we can't do any ads, we can't do any Google ads. But back to your question earlier, like we've been banned already, banned in the sense where our account is still active, but we can't do any advertising on it. But we haven't gone to the point where they completely banned us. But
and like disable our account.
I think they might have shadow banned us in a way. I'm not sure, but like,
If you ever get deleted, just call us.
Yeah.
We'll turn it back on. But more importantly, we should definitely talk about the loopholes. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, between the 4 of us, there's a lot of cannabis brands that follow us and talk to us. And honestly, these people need help. It's like it's like supplements in the 80s.
Yeah.
Right. It's like no one knows what they're doing.
The
No
Wild
one knows
Wild
how to
West.
get in front of the right people.
yeah.
I think give us one secret that you have for specifically getting content to be approved.
Yeah.
Right. For what you're going to post and not have that content come down. And then I will give you one of mine.
Yeah.
So that it's not just all one-sided.
So for, I guess, loophole wise, it's more along the lines of how you can run ads and paid media side of things. So a lot of these cannabis companies that sell, I would say, hemp derived cannabis on e-commerce, right? You can't run paid media directly because your website says like cannabis, THC, blah, 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 all this stuff. So what people do is they actually spin up a subdomain. For example, learn.siploki.com, which is just a blog that talks about, things in the space, but not really selling anything directly. Then what you do is you'll have a separate account that, links to that subdomain. And you could run ads on that then. You could run ads talking about the product, not really selling it directly, but more often than not, someone's going on that landing page and click that shop button. And the shop button then routes to the regular page, which is like what Can has been doing, the cannabis companies, which a lot of cannabis companies in this space have been doing. A lot of these like psychedelic drinks in the space have been doing. And I don't know how long that's going to work, but
as soon as this airs.
as soon as this airs.
So, I mean, in terms of customer acquisition cost, in terms of like these pay and spend and all that, are you able to calculate it?
We're not at the moment. It's hard for us to do that because we're
not even spending any money on it.
We're not spending money on ads. Yeah, that's the crazy part. We're not spending any money on ads at this point. When we got banned from, I guess, paid media, specifically like Meta platform and Google, we're like, let's route the money to where it's actually
events,
where it's paying back, which is
activations,
activations, events,
and they have been. I think. Well, I feel like we see the actual success of that versus when you do online, you don't know if it's working or not.
Well, you do,
Well,
right? You could track conversion rates very easily, like seeing
how many clicks go through,
and like what your return on ad spend is and all that. But we never even got to that point where we weren't able to get there, to scale it.
You guys are notorious for having these activations in Austin, Miami, right?
Yeah.
New York. Have you expanded past that?
Not yet. And a big part of that is because to do it properly, you need significant capital, like to do it really right. I'm talking about like doing an activation where
Shreds national tours.
Tour.
Bang Energy.
Like, how much did you
run
guys
every
spend? Like, it's
location.
$100,000, $50,000 at a minimum for a good looking event.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like even if you're a sponsor, right? We were going to sponsor like this huge music festival, like a year ago, a year and a half ago.
Yep. And this is like post-COVID. We're thinking like everyone's going to come out.
Yeah, and we were very close to doing it. We even negotiated a pretty good deal, but at the time we're like, okay, cool, but it would be even more dope if we did our own event, right? Like I know so many people in the music industry. For us to do it, it would be very easy to execute, right? But another thing that we did that sort of hacked the events was working with artists directly. Yeah. So like a lot of DJs, a lot of musicians, we sponsor them, right? And what they end up doing is they put Low-key on their hospitality rider. So when you're in the booth, like you'll fucking see cans of Low-key in like these exclusive parties in New York.
Green M&Ms and Low-key.
Yeah,
that's what
literally
I
green M&Ms and Low-key. Yeah. So it's sort of been going that route. Kind of was.
We did Made in America. That was.
Made in America was a very good activation.
We had a conversation with
Armani White, the rapper.
Before he got famous with that Billie Eilish song, he went on his Instagram and was talking about like how he had this drink and he loved it.
It was hilarious.
It was hilarious. And we actually had a call with him and his manager. We were like talking about how he could be one of our first artists of our Low-key arts program. We didn't even get into that.
Yeah.
And then while we were doing that, like he dropped his song. And he just went.
Yeah, we kind of dropped the ball
100 times.
He's like,
yeah, we dropped the ball. Armani, if you hear this, come back, bro.
We definitely messed that up. But but we only met him because we were at Made in America. We were like at that Duce, like Duce was there, Low-key was there, and then a few other brands were there.
We were we were only in the VIP areas, right? Which is sort of what we tried making this brand feel like. From day one, it's like let's make it feel exclusive. Right, but be very obtainable. What does that mean? Like I see it at Soho House, I see it in like these VIP places, but I could walk into my bodega and buy it still. That's sort of how we positioned it. So most of the activations that we did was like in the VIP areas, or
we kept it low key.
Yeah,
but
kept it low key in a way.
Yeah. As long as I get my Aki way, and get my Low-key at the same time, it's all good. I understand completely. So the idea is to disrupt and to get in front of people. You have these direct partnerships and direct line of sight to the brand.
Yeah.
And then in terms of utilizing these tools that everyone else is using for building brands, you found that you have to kind of skirt around to make it work.
Yes, for sure. In the space that we're in, we have to work with what we have. Literally, we play the cards that are dealt every time, and the cards keep changing in this industry, which is really annoying.
The best analogy that I ever got was like, imagine you are building a football team, right? All right, like, look, I got my quarterback, I got a few wide receivers. You show up to your first game, and they're like, we're playing basketball.
Or no, they just changed the field.
Like, we're playing basketball today, and you're like, well, I didn't hire, a point guard. I don't have a center. Like, what am I doing, And my center is a different kind of center, But
in a way, it's sort of all this red tape. We
great
see
for
it
us
as an opportunity because
we move quick.
We have like a whole creative team that can like execute immediately, whereas other people don't really have that. Not that I know of, right? So
and there's 3 decision makers.
Yeah.
So we were on a group text together, and we're just like, hey, we need to do this. Okay, boom. It's getting done.
So like literally today, like we were like, okay, we need to launch recipes on our new site, right? And we have this new employee, ChatGPT, who's like, amazing, so like
really?
Expensive.
So
expensive.
So literally, like within.
Well, tell him the name you gave him.
Within the I forgot what it was. Chatham GPT. Yeah, so, no, within like the train ride here, we launched a whole section on the website that it has recipes already made, and like has the images already done, like ready to go kind of thing. So,
and the employees that are doing it are like, I kind of actually want to drink this drink. And
I'm like it's actually really fucking good if I read these recipes right now.
So in terms of straight up disruption marketing, what do you think was the most successful campaign in your launch? Because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it is definitely a household name in the cities and in the states where it's available.
Yeah. What's the most successful?
I feel like the world doesn't need another hard seltzer.
That was a good campaign.
Yeah.
We did like idea.
We did this whole campaign where it's like, even the creative for it was like so minimal. It was just like a huge white poster that says in bold letters, "The world doesn't need another hard seltzer." We wanted to say something that if someone reads it, they're like, "You're right. The world doesn't fucking need another hard seltzer."
I mean, the choices are endless.
Yeah,
truly.
And it just says, "Say hello to the better buzz," and it just has like our logo on it, which is, I guess, vague enough for someone to be like, "Yo, what the fuck is that?"
Yeah,
right?
what are they talking
like,
about? Like,
we saw a lot of people like scan the QR codes, and those turned into sales online.
I like the wild postings. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing, but again, Harji opened.
We had stencils on the streets everywhere in Williamsburg and New York. Like, And we kind of rode that out into other things, onto like social platforms. When we work with other artists, they were posting about it. It was like a hashtag, right? But I think that might have been like the most recent successful campaign. I guess another one is like when we launched. We go all the way to the beginning before we went live on 420. Like
the pre-sale thing.
We wanted to see if there was a real product market fit for this thing, right? And like we're going 100 miles an hour,
and we were like, what if nobody buys this shit?
Yeah, what if no one buys this shit? So we did like a small campaign, I would say, where we let people pre-order a 4-pack, right? And we did almost like 1,500 pre-orders.
Yeah, that was. Ashish, I never got my pre-order.
Yeah, actually.
100%.
Oh,
yeah, never got it.
He's ops, so that's on him.
Wow. So
I don't know why you didn't get your pre-order.
I mean, I was.
Did you like click the after it launched?
I was in Pennsylvania. Were you able to ship to Pennsylvania?
Yeah, we shipped to Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
but after you pre-ordered it, did you like when we said, "Hey, now it's available"?
Wait, I did get it, but I think I was drinking that night.
Oh, dang!
I think I combined it.
You just called customer service.
I did actually get a form. Wait, now that I think about it,
you know what? I'm gonna go back because I can look at all the data and check the addresses and see who pre-ordered. Because I love data.
He put up one of those messages in the fraternity board. He was like, "Hey, brothers, please support."
Yes, I did.
If I don't sell 500 cans, we have to close this company down. And I'm like, okay,
actually,
I ordered.
I forgot. I did go on to the our fraternity Facebook private group, and I posted, and from there, that's actually how we got another partner onto the team, Lance.
Yeah,
who's been killing it for us in Texas. You want to talk about marketing and like
bro, Lance is a fucking beast.
Well, Lance is like my go-to guy. Like I know I love Harji, but I love Lance.
Yeah, this guy's because he's selling pallets, bro.
Yeah,
like pallets.
Yeah, Lance is like, oh man, in Texas, like. He lives that Loki lifestyle. He even created the Sippers Only Club.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be a sipper to be a part of it. I mean, what he's been doing, again, and what I like about doing random things like posting in a fraternity thread or even on Twitter is like, you don't know who's going to respond to it or what they're going to do it and how he's helped us blow up in Texas. Like 100% of the credit goes
Texas
to him.
is probably one of our largest markets at this point.
Yeah. And he's definitely been killing it for us in Texas.
So let me ask you this. I've been thinking about this whole time we're talking because obviously when you're in the beverage space, it's super, super competitive, right?
Oh, 100%.
So let me ask you this. I'm sure this is what keeps you up at night. And tell me if I'm wrong. You have to have speed in this market because at some point, the White Claws, the Budweisers, they're going to pick up on this if they haven't already.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a proliferation of this CBD, THC branded drink.
Now they're scared.
And they're going to flood the market.
And they're fake. They're fake. Like, if you told me, White Claw's releasing a cannabis drink, like, dude, they were never in the game. They don't know cannabis. They're just stepping into it. We've been in it since day one. Did all the hurdles. You're telling me when regulation opens up, the consumers are stupid enough to be like, oh, yeah, I trust White Claw with their cannabis thing. No.
Okay.
They should stick to their lane.
So you're not scared. No. That doesn't keep you up.
Well, this helps me sleep at night. Perfect.
If anything, I hope they acquire us. Like,
if anything, you should acquire the real brands, like
Yeah, I get
Can, Keith Cola, Loki. Like
we've always sort of said, like we want to become the Red Bull of this industry. What does that mean? Like we want a Formula One. If I say to you, like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you say energy drink? Right? It's either Red Bull or Monster. There's all the other shit like no one even thinks about. Right? We want to position this in a way where, like, if someone says, "Yo, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say cannabis drink?"
Like, there's going to be like 2 or 3.
Loki,
one of us. Yeah.
And believe it or not, a lot of people say that it's Can and Loki. Those are the two that are like the top. I say come to mind first, and I think a big reason is because both Can and us, like, we invest so much time and thought and money into brand building and brand equity.
Another 4-letter name.
Yeah,
great
branding. Yeah,
yeah.
So do you have? How are you going to get to that next level? How are you going to get acquired? Like, how are you going to grow to that? Because I've heard of Can, right? I mean, I listen to podcast. This is Important podcast, right? I love that podcast. I think one of the guys might be a part owner or whatever. He gets to talk about it on the podcast.
Yep.
Is that something you guys have looked into?
Look at another podcast or
looking at
we haven't taken
how
do
you
not cheat on me with another podcast. Okay, we're not to talk about that.
So I mean. Look,
they raised $60 million.
They raised 60. That's the thing. So let me start by saying we are completely bootstrapped.
We're
no outside capital. We're self-funded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Can went to market, I think they did something in like TechCrunch and like or whatever that sort of thing is where they raise money, right? So they raised a shit ton of money from day one, and it was easy for them to kind of get to that level. And right now, I think for us, we're like, okay, let's prove this concept first with our own money, right? And we'll get a higher valuation because we're already like. revenue generating, versus, dude, I want to launch a seltzer. Can I get $3 million as a friends and family round or something like that? But to that point, like, how are we going to get there? It's going to be through sales and marketing, 100%.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of raising a round. So, once we do close this round, a lot of that money is going to go to hiring the right sales teams, hiring, people going to stores and doing taste tests and like going to events and stuff like that. I think that's the next step for us, essentially.
Remember, we're all three of us are new to the beverage space.
Yeah, this is the first beverage we launched.
Like we've learned so much in the last 2 years, and I'd rather learn with our own money than, all right, Uncle, invest in us. Give us $1 million. Let me burn through your money. Trust me, I could spend other people's money way faster, but when it's your own money, you make decisions very carefully.
100%.
And once you understand the model, then it's easy because you're not going to make any mistakes with other people's money, and that's very important.
Tomorrow, if we wanted to launch another beverage, we could do it with our eyes closed at this point. And come to us with any idea. Like, we might as well be an incubator for beverages at this point. I think we kind of
understand it, and we know how the distribution game works. We know how the sales force work, and we've leveraged all our networks. I mean, like, having a bunch of our friends own liquor stores or smoke shops or yoga studios really helped us out. Like
yoga studios.
Like,
yoga studios are a big market for us. Believe it or not.
I believe it. That's
like,
what
I know you're laughing.
So back to what I was saying earlier, when we launched, we thought we were like party goers would love this, but you have sober moms that love this drink. Like there's like a whole community around sober moms that just like have parties with Loki instead of wine and shit. I'm like, what? Oh, this is wild. Like,
you forgot the one thing like we forgot to talk about is we stopped asking to get put in a cooler next to the seltzers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We actually asked to get put next to wines. Reason being, when you're walking down the wine aisle and you see this, you're like, oh, wait, I can do this with my friends instead of drinking a bottle of wine. And look, a bottle of wine, you're still spending like $20. You only get 4 glasses of wine in a wine bottle. Well, you have 4 cans. It comes in a little 4-pack, and you'll grab that instead. And we've seen our sales increase versus you stick it in your cooler. You walk by it, you miss it. Whereas like next to the wine, this thing sells.
Oh, I love that.
So
again, learning, and I also have my own liquor store, so it helps. Again, like trying.
You guys are also getting into bottling too, right?
So I was going to say that, right? Another part of like getting to that next level is having multiple SKUs, right? Because in this retail game, having shelf real estate is going to be so important, right? Because right now we have 5 SKUs, right?
5 SKUs, yeah.
The idea is to have like double that number almost, maybe, right? To have so many different types of SKUs so that when you're walking down the aisle, you see Loki everywhere. Like kind of like if you see Marlboro, they own fucking like an entire thing behind the counters usually, right?
Or even Corona. Corona has 24-pack, 6-pack,
exactly,
12-pack, cans,
yeah,
bottles,
like minis,
But for us, the next thing we want to launch is going to be a bottled version because we want it to be like this beautiful sort of like
high-end,
like it's going to be a flex when you fucking order this in a nightclub kind of bottle. You know what I mean? Like right now you order an Ace of Spades or you order a Casa Azul or something like that. Sort of a flex. So we're going to have this beautiful bottle with that just that O on it, right? And we're thinking about the bottle being that shape too. And it's going to be a lot higher of a concentrate in there.
So when you pour shots or whatever.
You want to be able to pour shots over there or make cocktails out of it. So that's the next thing we're going to launch. I think next year that's the plan for the bottle.
Yeah. It's been on our to-do list, but like we say no a lot, and we've been like focusing on design, trying to get it right. We don't want to launch a shitty product.
That's another thing. We take our time with things, so we rather, if we're going to do it, we're going to take our time and do it right versus, just putting something out there just to get it out kind of thing.
These flavors took a long time because we had to like,
we did focus groups. We did so much shit to get these flavors out. Like people have been loving the flavors so far. We're using like exotic fruits and whatnot. So again, everything we do,
one thing I can tell you, I forgot to tell you, is like when I sell it, people are like, what the hell's a yuzu? Like,
he said that too.
Yeah,
oh, you did? Okay. See?
Yeah.
Like sometimes maybe we're going too exotic, but like guava,
the yoga ladies all know yuzu. It's these uptight finance
but
bros
guava
that don't have answers.
Guava is like kind of mainstream, but like maybe 10 years ago, like no one knew what a guava was, right?
I'm Indian.
Everyone knows what guava is.
But all right, so let's get into some hard stories, right? What's one regret that you guys have, other than having 500,000 cans sitting somewhere?
Oh, dude, I would say not vetting one of our co-packers.
Yeah,
because
let's get into it. What
happened? Dude, so when we launched the first can, we kind of got super fucked with this one co-packer who I think was sort of like we were their guinea pig because they didn't know what they were doing, right? So we had like almost 60,000 cans we had to throw away because they were leaking and all this shit. Dude, it was a disaster. So I think, going through that learning curve, we kind of realized that
vetting co-packers is way more important than the price you actually pay to get your product.
100%. Like,
pay more. And that applies to marketing too. If you want good marketing, you got to pay up for it. You want a good co-packer? Pay up for it.
Dear clients, pay up for it.
100%. Like
hashtag pay up for it.
You pay for what you get. It's like always, and no matter what industry that is.
And we were just so naive. We just didn't know. We were like, all right, they'll run it for us. Great, let's just do it.
Yeah.
We got 500,000 cans. We got to make money. We were trying to be in a rush to try to make that money, make that brand, be the first out.
Yeah.
But some things we got to slow. Again, if we had taken outside capital, great. I just burned through all these other people's money. Nope. If it's ours, we feel that pain. We never want to go through that pain again.
Yeah. So that was, I think, one of, at least my biggest regret was like dealing
with
that.
I agree. Like everything else I love about this damn thing.
I had a similar problem. A seasoning company I was involved in wanted to launch jerky. And so we went to jerky because obviously, you season stuff, right? Like what's another extension of that? As soon as we found this one co-packer for jerky that did it, meeting all my specifications, which was pretty extensive at the point. Me being the branding guy, I had to make some badass jerky bags, right? That would like stand out in retail, and I would be at every bodega, every gas station, every rest stop. I made this amazing bag, but the person who was making the bag and the person who was filling the bag, their machinery didn't line up.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's what happened.
Every single bag had a hole in it. That caused all of it to go bad in 24 hours.
Oh my God.
And so, we have all of this stuff getting shipped to our warehouses and our DCs, and it's arriving smelling like the rankest, like stale meat possible.
Oh man.
We're like, how is this? Like, I ordered, I think it was like 1.2 million bags to make this work.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on? Oh. It was just one of those things where you're not in the jerky industry, so you can't ever expect that to be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
same with us. I feel like we were probably that co-packer is like guinea pig so they could figure out how to work in this industry.
I can tell you what went wrong because once something goes wrong, you want to dig into it. So we started sending our cans to different is it the can issue? Is it the sleeve issue?
Yeah.
Is it the lids? Because I also didn't know how these cans were sealed. Like we learned all that through the process, and we figured out the problem was their machinery. They kept retooling it, so they would do like different size cans. And when you retool it, if you mess up the specification, the lids don't sit on properly, they don't seal properly, that can cause oxidation. That'll cause it to like start poking holes, leaking. And if one can leaks, your whole 24 pack is wet and moldy trash.
Oh, wow.
Dude, we had to throw away pallets.
I had videos of us using forklifts, picking up a pallet, and I'm just like, I know how much that costs.
Yeah.
And I'm just seeing dollar signs going into the trash. I'm just like, oh my God.
And it was funny when that happened. Like it created, I think, more of a demand for our product because we were sold out.
Yeah, we're like, we don't have product.
Everyone's like, "Yo, when are we getting more product? When are we getting more product?" Because a lot of our reorder rate's pretty high with our retailers. Yep. So we would just be blown up. Like, "Yo, when can we order again? When can we order again?" So it kind of created a demand in the market, I think. So
demand, and then like they were mad at us, and then fielding those phone calls was not tough. But you just tell them the truth, like, "Yo, look, everything got fucked." And we're gonna make it right.
And then like our reputation as a brand was so important that everyone who had an issue with their cans, we replaced every one of them. We refunded all their money, kind of thing. Like
because
or gave them the new batch that the new flavors for free.
We're not trying to be in it just for 1 year, make some money, and get out. It's like my reputation is good. Like for example, I didn't say anything about Harji to you, or I just told Harji a location. He shows up because he trusts me, and I need that kind of level of trust.
Where are we hiding the body?
Like he'll just show up and
whose car are we taking?
Yeah,
that's the question.
No, so in business, like your reputation is super important. So don't if someone needs something replaced, just replace it. Don't try to save that $8 because it'll cost you thousands.
But yeah, biggest regret. The co-packing.
You know what's interesting is that we've been doing a few of these podcasts, right? And we've had guests before. And the ones we've spoken to about disruption marketing, it's funny, the themes that we get are that some of the, we're in the digital world, we got social media, right? But some of the most disruptive things are occurring outside of what we think is marketing these days. Like it's old school marketing. Like for instance, Jamie, it was the billboard, right?
We love those billboards. I know
those billboards. You know what, right? You've seen them. And for you guys, it's actual activations, like in person, outside of the digital sphere.
Harji stole Chick-fil-A's marketing He said he didn't have a cow being like, eat more chicken.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that campaign, hard seltzer, that's a great campaign.
Yeah.
I got you, man. I know you're.
How much thought have you put into like influencer marketing and getting these cans in like Taylor Swift's hands or something like that?
You know what? Like a lot, but we just haven't executed on it yet. And it's crazy that we've gotten this far without doing any influencer marketing, because I feel like that's just going to take shit to the next level, right?
Yeah, I know we did like I feel like
It's like cut the cameras. Let's start doing a deal right now.
No, because here's the thing,
we would be new to the space too. Let's be honest. Like
because we don't do influencer marketing at all at our agency. You know what I mean? So we've done it once. It's just they're fucking annoying to deal with every time. They don't know how to deliver on the deliverables. You know what I mean? Like it's a nightmare.
I think we know a guy.
Yeah.
Pick it up.
But no, another thing I would say is like a big part of like the brand itself is like we wanted it to be low key. We don't want to be like, yo, check this drink out, drink it kind of thing. We always wanted it to be in the background, have cool people drinking it kind of thing, but never feel like it's salesy.
Yeah, like you should try my drink.
Yeah.
It's delicious. It gets you high. Like I feel like I don't know, influencer marketing. It just seems kind of.
And when I've tried influencer marketing, they fucking never follow the script. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're just a nightmare to deal with. So
if you have a solution for that, we're open.
I think we know a guy to make that work. I guess we're more curious to understand what is the growth trajectory for the category.
Yeah.
Like, is this going to be the next thing that I see at Whole Foods when we're just like walking through the store? I mean, we're talking about
Minnesota.
Business Insider did like a study on this. When we were launching, we were looking into like this exact question. Like, where is this market going? Do we want to actually invest all the time and money into it? They think it's going to be like a $6.2 billion market in like 2025, right?
Interesting.
So
to put that in comparison, do we know what the number is for alcohol?
I don't know.
Well, I can tell you, alcohol is trending down.
Alcohol's trending down.
Hard seltzers. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I do know, like, surprisingly, alcohol is trending down a little bit because I would say, like, millennials, Gen Z, and all this stuff, like, they're not drinking as much as,
our generation.
Your generation, I guess.
Uncle Garlic says he stops drinking, and all of a sudden the whole industry is like, no, what are we going to do?
They're consuming cannabis a lot more. And now that it's, like, a bit more, I guess, it's legal in so many places, legal, right? Like, you walk around Williamsburg, it smells like weed and pizza. That's what Williamsburg smells like now. So,
but see, we want to get away from the weed smell, hence a canned beverage. Like, because eventually people are going to get annoyed with the smell and the process of rolling. Like, it's like a ritual. It's a lot of work. This is like, right?
I mean, hey man, an old fashioned requires a lot of work too.
Yeah.
Right, where you're going into it. But will there ever be extensions for low-key into the other categories of cannabis products?
I don't know, man. We thought about doing like maybe like trays and stuff like that, but not like, I don't think we're going to do anything other like cannabis products. We're going to stick with beverages. We're good at it. It's our thing.
Like it's easy to launch a gummy company and just put a low-key label on it and sell it. Like
we're going to stick to beverages. I'm pretty confident on that. Yeah.
But we do like the whole enhanced option of beverages. Like when we launch a beverage, like this is regular, THC, whereas there's other cannabinoids out there. And like our first one was Delta 8 THC. And each cannabinoid is a little different. And we like the whole functional beverages space. So that's why he was...
So this is the idea of like a shot in a beer when you go out to a bar, right? When someone takes a shot of beer, you might have like a shot of like Delta 8 and then have the low-key.
It's funny, we talked about potentially like in the future, who knows, but trying a psilocybin seltzer. That would be wild. So
if anything, it would be a different, like,
it would be a whole different thing, psychoactive
style,
thing, right? But I don't know. We're probably way far away from that being legal. So, I mean, anything that we create, it needs, like he said, it's got to be a functional beverage, right? Otherwise, most people would just rather drink water or coffee or something like that. So,
okay, I think it's that time. We're gonna flip the script. Do you guys have any questions for us, having known our backgrounds?
What would you do differently if you launched this
for low-key?
Yeah.
Differently? Oh man, I'm such a fan of like the marketing that you guys are currently doing.
Well, have you seen the Sip Loki Texas page, or have you only seen the Sip Loki Instagram page?
Just the main Instagram.
I've seen everything.
You've seen everything.
My buddy Ashish posts at least once a week something disruptive on the fraternity listservs, and it'll either be like oh my God, I'm so proud of so-and-so brother for whatever they're doing. And I'm like, serious FOMO, right? Like, why hasn't he said that about me yet? What is taking so long?
Today I'm going to go home and be like, I'm so proud of Uncle Guard.
Or they'll be like, hey guys, I just learned how to put a palette together. Aren't you proud of me? Right? And I'll just be like, I just have seen this thing for 3+ years of everything you guys are doing. That I've seen all of it at this point, right? I think the influencer marketing route, being that affiliate marketing and everything that goes into it is so new in your space, it's something that would exponentially grow sales.
I think so too. I would agree.
Do you use something called Share a Sale? Have you heard of Share a Sale?
Yeah, no, I'm in marketing. I know what Share a Sale is.
Okay, so like we're looking at that as an option.
No, we kind of, I mean, we set it up, but
I forbid you.
So we're not using that. Yeah, it's
forbid.
It's a horrible
tell
platform.
me why, because like I need to hear real.
It's 2023.
Yeah. It's a horrible platform. There's so many different things.
Harji, how dare you talk about using something that's like Wix.
Dude, it was this one PR agency that we worked with. Let's not go. That was another regret, by the way.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. But no, I agree with you. I think influencer marketing is going to like take this exponential growth, I would say. But it's about executing it right and having the right influencers, I think. You know, the influencers that are within the audience segment that we defined for the beverage, I would say. But the hard part about that is, man, like the audience segment that we define, like it's hard to have them be influencers, right?
So the easiest way to answer
let's unpack that real quick.
When we targeted the beverage towards what we call Henry's, high earning, not rich yet people, right? Where none of these people are going to want to fucking, you know, be on Instagram influencing. They live very low key lives, right? So it's interesting. Like, how do we?
Did you say high earners, not rich yet?
Yeah, we call them Henry's, high earning, not rich yet. Right. So that's what we targeted from day one. And, you know, these are the people that are a little bit more influential that, you know, people kind of aspire to be like, maybe, I don't fucking know, but it's like the brand muse in a way, right? Yeah. What I guess the best way to describe a brand muse for people listening to this is like when you see a Nike ad, right? A Nike ad is always like this fit, good-looking fucking person running through Williamsburg or Paris, right? But the people who are actually wearing Nike are going to be like normal motherfuckers who are like a dad who just wears Nike shoes, who's aspiring to be like that person, right?
Yeah.
So our brand muse are like these high-earning, not rich yet people who are global travelers and stuff like this, right? But how do we get people like that to be influencers, you know, or like do influence?
Uncle's like, I got him.
But you might have the answer. I don't know. Like,
you don't want the Henry to be your influencer.
No.
That's not the question.
Yeah.
That's the wrong question to ask.
Yeah.
Is who does Henry
look
have
at?
clout?
Celebrities. That's what the Henry looks at. But like how the cost to get a fucking like Kanye to be like, yo, this is my shit, you know, it's going to be astronomical, I'm guessing.
Have you looked at those costs yet?
We did. I think we looked at it with a few rappers, believe it or not. And they were like pretty high up there.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm like,
yo, how can we calculate return on ad spend on that? You know, so.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk disruption marketing with solutions for everything we're talking about, right? So I'm curious to know if you have some of these answers for the same questions that I had to ask myself in one of the spaces I was in. Let's just say supplements. So, I mean, I don't think I've ever done a podcast with these things. So this could be some viral vertical content that's about to drop. So I'm entering the supplement space. I need to study the hell out of it and understand what are my objections, what are my obstacles, what's the average amount someone pays for protein, why do people take protein, so on and so forth. I did a little study with some friends that worked at Herbalife and Visalis, and they gave me some answers to some stuff that like blew my mind. What do you think is the number one reason people buy a piece, a jar of protein the second time after the first month?
The second time after the first month.
They finished it.
Because it went bad, the first jar.
Okay, interesting answers. So let's ask the more important question. Why do you think people don't buy the second month after the first month? So that's your guess?
So they just didn't stay committed to going to the gym.
You've heard this from me before, right? So you know the answer. So. What do you think?
Taste.
So they never opened it.
They never opened it?
So they bought it because of a momentary decision of an emotional connection to wanting to lose weight.
Probably right.
for why they did buy a second jar, sort of. Except if that happened, they didn't buy the second jar. That was the part that I was like, I don't know where his brain's going with this. So when I realized that the number one reason you pay all this money for customer acquisition costs, but then they don't buy again, it's because they never opened it. You convinced them on that emotional decision to give this a try. But then they waited 3 days to get the product. They got it. They put it in their cupboard. They don't even know what to do with it, so on and so forth. So one of our secret sauces that created the disruptive movement and community and everything is that we would call them and speak to them as soon as their package arrived. And, conceptually, like if they had a Vitamix in the house, we would FaceTime them and pull out the Vitamix and make a shake with whatever they had in their fridge. And the idea of overcoming that obstacle for that user got them to then get past that immediate hurdle that Visalis and Herbalife are telling me were over 74% of their customers not coming back because they just never opened it.
Damn, that is wild. I did not know that.
But do you think people would buy Loki and not open it? Like that doesn't.
So interesting. I don't know the stats, but I can tell you there are beverages that my wife and I will bring to the house, and they're just sitting in the back of my fridge. Yeah, because it's too hard to reach. And I don't know if Loki's in the front of my fridge or if the beverage that we have is in the front of the fridge.
I will say that, like,
you're saving it. Like Loki is something that some people save.
Not even. I think there's the hurdle that we have sometimes. It's that it might be intimidating for some people, right? Because if you slap Cannabis Seltzer on something, there is still a part of your brain like, yo, I don't want to get that high right now, So
I have stuff to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that there's that small barrier of entry. But when people do crack that can open and they try it, they're like, yo, this isn't that bad.
I'm not
like you finished one right now.
Gone.
Right?
I mean, you're still
normal, right?
Absolutely.
So actually, this is the happiest I've seen Ludwig in a long time.
30 minutes later, it's like he's passed out on the couch.
Yeah.
So if I was told that the objection is that people are afraid because they've never had a THC beverage, all my marketing would be around solving that fear.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say 1 can is equivalent to 2 cigarettes, or 1 can is equivalent to
we actually have that on some of our, like when you order a can of a 4-pack now,
you
get this beautiful like leaflet that shows, okay, 1 can is like similar to this, 2 cans similar to this, right? And
or 1 can, the effects should last an average of 30 minutes, or should last an average of 45 minutes, or you can proceed with operating heavy machinery after an hour or after a meal or whatever it is that you would need to say that is compliant that you're able to say. And then I would make that my campaign instead of the world doesn't need another seltzer. But that doesn't need another seltzer
is
a phenomenal.
Write the check.
But that's
cut the shit and cut the check.
Another one. But like the campaigns that you guys ran were phenomenal for B2B sales.
Yeah.
Right now, another hard seltzer is such an easy win, right? But I would have also incentivized the retail market to pick up these brands with certain like accessories and gifts with purchases and so on and so forth that would make it that you're not cannibalizing their margin on wine.
Yeah.
Which you currently are doing, which is a problem. And you probably are probably not seeing that problem right now, but we'll talk about that off the air. And that's a problem that you guys are going to see probably the next 6 months to 12 months with your marketing technique and everything you guys are doing. So then, I asked myself when I had Shreds launch a GNC, or I had these other opportunities where different brands are going in certain spaces, how do I not cannibalize the margin for the store?
But the distributors, I can tell you this, like we work with the distributor in New Jersey. They are a wine distributor. They're the ones that picked us up because they saw the reason and the need to move into this space. And when they go, they're like, look, if I don't carry your beverage, somebody else is going to, and they're going to cannibalize my sales anyways.
Yeah.
So either get on board or lose anyways. Because at the end of the day, like that category is losing. Like
you're absolutely right. That is the only way to deal with that objection is the fear of missing out, right? The FOMO of not having a product in this category. And then if that's when you start dealing with the competitors also entering the same category and competing with you for the shelf space and the inches and so on and so forth. You have to have the highest revenue by square inch.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a very key KPI that all these retailers look at. And obviously your cans stacking a certain way or having a certain amount of space.
We actually got rid of the box because our box, I think, was taken away from how nice the can was. Like, I think that was a decision that we had to make because we realized the box was...
It was a beautiful box.
Don't lie to us. That box was 16 cents and you wanted to save the 16 cents.
The 4-pack topper is just as expensive.
Yeah, so we actually, I mean, we're saving maybe a little bit of money on
2
that.
cents.
You know what I mean? But what we saw happening was a lot of people we were doing boxes for retailers too, and they were just like taking the cans out and throwing out the box. So like, why the fuck are we spending money on the box, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, it kind of hid the beauty of the can.
Yeah, and like now when you see it, there's like a yellow can, a pink can, a white can, a black can, all next to each other.
Yeah.
You don't miss it. You don't miss anything.
Yeah.
My daughter keeps asking, where's the green can? Where's the blue can? You know, so like.
Oh, another thing we didn't even talk about is like the fact that our drink is 5 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugars, you know, and one of them is actually at 0 calories.
They're going to just drop that at the end of the show.
Yeah,
They're gonna be- yeah. By the way, hella healthy.
Yeah, it is hella healthy. Yeah, for sure. So
here's the other thing I want to answer for you guys. What I would have done differently, something I haven't seen you guys do, is I would have activated my customer base to introduce me to more retail locations. So like introduce us to your yoga studio and get X.
That's a great idea.
Right, because obviously you found a win there, right? And so there's yoga studios, there's saunas, there's meditation studios.
Yeah.
Float centers.
So what's really interesting with everything he's saying is like we're planning like a whole email marketing campaign thing too moving forward, and I think this could tie right into that where it's like, you know, if you introduce us to blah blah blah,
will give you
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's so many tried and true methods to get in front of all these different places. I would just remove any fear of why people are afraid to try it.
Yeah,
and so answer that as quickly as you possibly can, and everything else is easy after that.
Because I mean, look, even my parents are like, you know, they come from like an Indian household where they're like, you know, no drinking, no alcohol, no, you know, marijuana, no nothing.
I would just compare it to bong, right? Our culture has had weed in our drinks for thousands of years.
Our parents are like
now they're like super supportive.
So it's funny, my parents and their friends like fucking love Loki. You know, I would never think that because they're like traditional Indian parents, right? And like the whole.
If we can break that market, I mean, like the rest is like.
Honestly, that market's even easier than everything else because our parents have been drinking weed infused beverages since they were kids.
Yeah. Yep.
Right, it's part of one holiday that we have that everyone just drinks this like milk infused cannabis, or cannabis infused,
and it's super strong, like
milk infused,
get fucked up,
right? And so like I would say a glass of that is probably 25 grams
more
for
sure. A glass of bong of like it is a lot. Like
you're out after one glass. It's like one of those giant lussie glasses,
exactly,
right? Yeah. And one of those, you're zonked out.
They're not measuring it, bro. They're just like,
yo, I can eat a lot of rotis, but I can eat a lot more rotis on that specific day because I'm drinking that beverage. So I mean, I don't think that community is that hard, or like the parents to convince them.
But I mean, the stigma of it, you know, the space you're in, like it was difficult, right? No, you didn't think that?
Almost every culture that currently exists has a specific use for marijuana and cannabis. They're just not talked about outside of their culture.
Yeah.
So you just got to figure out each one of those things. Like the Latinx community has it with the different things that happen. I think it's around the Muertos holiday, you know, the Day of the Dead.
That's now. That's like
tomorrow. I think.
Right. And there's a thing that cannabis is involved with that too,
is it?
right? The Greeks had it in a variety of different things. I mean, you think they were going to Greek bathhouses and not smoke it up? Of course they were, right? I think they had this thing where they would like burn it in a pile and then like fan it. Onto Caesar and everyone else, and like they would just have like this like vibe time where they were hanging out.
Vibe time, Caesar.
So I mean, like all this stuff exists. You just have to figure out what that one thing is, and then let Harji do his thing.
Word,
dude. But guys, thanks so much for coming down. I think it's awesome to get someone in this category. I'm like tearing up over Ashish posting about me tomorrow.
Yeah,
so,
but it'll probably be like. I was on Uncor's podcast instead of.
Guys, I was on my first podcast. How did I do?
I'm kidding. I won't do that. But I thought it was funny to say that.
I know Rod Shaw will be the first comments. Come on our podcast next.
Going back to that, I think it's so crazy that it's like the universe telling us to sign.
Absolutely.
He's gonna change it up for the next company that comes
down. No, man, no. This works. It's great. This is what we're sticking with. Yeah, but thanks so much for coming down. I know that you had to come all the way to Jersey from Brooklyn, so I appreciate you for that. I mean, any other things?
Nah, man, it was a pleasure having you guys. Learning a lot about this industry. The product is great. It tastes great. It looks awesome.
Dope.
So thanks you guys for coming down. For real.
Okay, take care, guys. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.
See you.